Go.
Cheers, everyone. Welcome to the Texas Toast Podcast, where we toast the best from Texas. And we're toasting Cameron Allbright on the episode today. Welcome to the podcast for the first time, Cameron. It's so nice to have you.
Howdy, thanks for having me.
Well, Cameron has a new album out that just dropped. And well, it's actually been out for a little bit. Any Part of Life is the title of the album. And I went through and I spent hours listening to this actually. Oh my
Oh,
gosh, just the depth of writing on this about true life stories and so many moments that touch you during the different tracks that you have on this album. So let's talk about your title track first, Any Part of Life, which is basically live life message, but the way you put it and in all of your music on the album, how everything is produced, instrumentation and your voice on it. But tell me about your inspiration behind that song.
yeah, for sure. I wrote that one when I was really young. I guess I'm still really young, but really, I wrote that I think when I was like 17, 18, still in high school, and that was
Wow.
kind of I always say some songs kind of fall from the sky, and some you got to dig out of the dirt, and that was one of them that definitely kind of just fell from the sky, and I kind of wrote maybe took 20 minutes or something, but yeah, so that one was kind of a gift, and I always was proud of it as a songwriter, but I hadn't yet even gotten up in front of anybody and played live yet, or even thought about trying to pursue it as a career. So it was kind of in my back pocket, and when I went to college, that's when I kind of ended up getting in front of some people and started playing live, and started to think a little bit more about about really trying this thing, and when we went into to record this first project, I was like, yep, that's got to be the one on there. I didn't know at the time that it would be really the title track, but uh, after we kind of the other songs all came together, I was like, wow, this would be a great kind of overall theme of this project. So it really worked out. Yeah.
So before I go through some of the other tracks, were there other ones on here that you had written when you were younger?
So that was I put out a series of singles a couple years before this project, and those were kind of the ones that were those first songs that I was writing that I thought were any good. And but no, the Any Part of Life was really the only one that was kind of from that era. But everything else kind of came together within, I'd say, a year or 2 years, really.
Wow, that's awesome. Let's talk about Frown. That kept me hanging on. I just, I was really touched by the line in the song that said, my body doesn't feel like home." It's like
Mhm.
that song just really, it just kind of gets at your heartstrings.
Yeah, that one was kind of an interesting story too. I kind of started just one night. Me and my girlfriend were just sitting on the couch, and I was just picking the guitar, and kind of came up with this little melody in this first two lines, and really wasn't trying to write a song. And like songwriting is, I think the best songs are accidents. They've always felt like that, and so I just kind of spit out a few lines, and my girlfriend Mia ended up recording it. I didn't even know she was recording and posting it on her TikTok, and uh, it did like pretty well. It didn't really go viral or anything, but quite a few people were in the comments like, "What is this? What is this? Like, put this out there." So
Yes.
when we went into to do this project, I had started with six songs. It was going to be kind of like an EP situation, and everybody just kept telling me, "Man, what happened to that song that Mia posted on TikTok?" I was like, "Well, I guess it's pretty good, so I better go finish it." And I ended up kind of messing with it for a long time. Couldn't really figure out a second verse. And in the studio, we kind of had some extra free time, and we weren't planning on recording that song that day. But the guy that produced this album, David Beck, he was like, "What about these other songs?" And I was like, "Man, I still need a second verse." So we pretty much, I just wrote it in the studio right there and recorded it. And he helped a little bit with a couple words, couple lines that inspired the second verse, and it all kind of came together really organically, in time as we recorded
Mhm.
it. So I think that's why that one, the recording is real special. I think I was really we cut it pretty much live, so like to a click, and I did the vocals pretty much live, and I think you can really kind of feel that live kind of performance emotion in the song on
Yes.
that
Yes.
recording. So that turned out perfect.
Yeah, that you nailed it on that because there was something about that song that like just drew me in. It was like the first time I listened to it, it's like, what's going to happen next? Like, what's going on? So yeah, good job on that one. And then supposed to be, I like the nice and bluesy on that one. Got little horns going on there. That's a great song.
Yeah, thanks. That was that was one, man, I guess I kind of wrote it. I always say this is a song about being a bad guy, and it's not really about me, I would say, because the details in there I've never actually done, but I guess at some point I felt like uh I've been not a good boyfriend sometimes in and better ways than that, obviously, and I kind of needed to get gain my girlfriend's love back a little bit there. So, and then melodically on that song, I was just proud of it because the chorus was really kind of catchy to me, and I remember writing it in my bathroom at my old apartment, and just being like, man, this has got a really cool, really fun kind of groove and a really big chorus that I enjoyed. So yeah.
And then moving on to Nothing Without You. And I mean, they're all good. I really enjoyed the line in the song that said, at least, basically, it was like, at least I got this old guitar. It's safe from being pawned because you don't have no appetite anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
actually that was my dad's line. And really I need to on some of these songwriting credits, I need to throw him on there. He needs to get registered with BMI or something. Throw him on there. But yeah, that was my dad. He's that's kind of my biggest influence is growing up. He's never been a performer or wanted to pursue it really as a career, but he's always been a songwriter and a guitarist, and really kind of he's definitely my biggest influence. So when I sent him that song, uh, he kind of sent back some notes. He does that sometimes, and I'm like, man, this is really smart. I wasn't thinking that deep, really good. So that was his line right there. So you can give Clay Albright the credit right there.
That's so nice to have your dad that's been in the business and been songwriting. And you have an uncle also that's in the music business.
Yeah, yeah. So Richie more so in the business. He's been playing traditional country music for
Hmm.
for a long time, and yeah, they've just been super supportive of me these last few years, and super excited, and yeah, it's really good to have that.
Yeah, nice. Did dad come in the studio at any time when you were recording your album?
He didn't. He did on those first few singles that I put out a couple of years ago, but I think on this one he was kind of just purposely kind of letting me do my own thing and kind of find my
Mhm.
own voice and be an adult and go in there and be creative and so I think I enjoyed that having kind of like, oh, I'm here alone doing this thing, and I said, we sent him the rough mixes and everything, and he never had any notes. He was just blown away every time we would send him a song. He was just blown away by it. He was just like, this is incredible. So yeah, it was awesome.
Bet that was a great feeling. And then you kind of pick it up a little with reasons: three, stay; two, go; one, never know. Another good one on there.
Yeah, that one, to tell you the truth, these songs kind of, this project is really me kind of figuring out how to write songs appropriately. And I wrote them, now we recorded this project a year ago, and it took a while to kind of push out singles, and as it does usually, and I think I've kind of evolved a lot and matured as a songwriter. Even now, like some of the songs I'm writing right now, I think are the best songs that I've written that I think are going to go on this next project, But Reasons was kind of a one where I was like another catchy kind of hook chorus, and I was like trying to figure out if it even kind of made sense, and maybe I was overthinking it, but it's cool how everybody can listen to a song and kind of get their own perspective on it, so it can be different things to different people, and that one's just it's one of my favorite to play live with the band right now. It's got a really
That's what
cool
I thought.
fun,
Yes, I could see
fun
that. That
chorus.
was my first thought. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Sing along song.
so it's fun, yeah, and people have been enjoying it. Yeah.
So you recorded the album last year. So about how much, just tell me about some of the experience that you had in the studio when you were making the album.
So I worked on this album with David Beck, and I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with him. He's awesome. He's got a band called Tahana Weekend, They do like Tejano style classic country covers. It's just the coolest thing. And he's been in a few bands and making music for uh, like 10. He's older than me. He's been doing it for maybe 12 years, and he's been producing music probably just about as long. And he lives here. So I live in San Marcos, Texas, and he lives or has a house that he's kind of made into a studio down the road in Martindale. And he's been cutting a lot of people's records there, and it wasn't at all really a traditional kind of recording process, like you go into a fancy studio and everything. It was very kind of organic and very I mean, we recorded in this old house, like built in the 1940s, I think. I'm probably getting this wrong, but the whole vibe in there was just super comfortable, super, uh, not doing it our way. And I really enjoyed
Hmm.
that. He's super creative. I love that he doesn't uh, he does what he feels and what he thinks is awesome and doesn't really follow a lot of trends and rules and stuff. And I think you can kind of hear that in the production that sets this project apart from a lot of other stuff coming out right now. So I was really pumped on that, and I really just kind of handed him the reins and trusted him. I was like, "Yeah, man, I've heard stuff you've done, and I'm here for you. I'm ready to do what you want to do." And I think it. I'm glad I did that because it turned out super duper cool.
Yes, it certainly did. And so you're from San Marcos. Where did you, so are you still in college or did you graduate?
So I just graduated in August. So yeah, I'm fresh out. I actually grew up in New Braunfels. That's where I grew up, right down the road from San Marcos. I moved
Right,
up
right.
here. I moved up to San Marcos.
To
Yeah,
go
to
to
go to
school.
college.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, cool. What did you study?
I got a degree in electronic media. I'm looking at my diploma right there. Um,
Wow.
and a minor in music. But to tell you the truth, if I could go back, I'd probably major in like sound recording technology. They have a really good program here. Maybe do something like
Mhm.
that. But I didn't start playing music in front of people till I was a sophomore. So I was like, and then really seriously the last 2 years. So I might have gotten a different degree, but I guess I'm not really. I've been kind of doing music full time somehow, some way for the past 4 months, paying the bills somehow. But we'll see how
Well,
long
that's
that
a good thing. That's good.
lasts.
So bills are getting paid. Have you ever wondered how artists like Treaty Oak Revival, Red Clay Strays, and Aaron Watson maintain the high quality and high demand for their merchandise? CH Lone Star Promo is the answer. Created in Texas to serve Texas artists, and they're currently offering 15% off on all merch orders from musicians. Visit chlonestarpromo.com to get started and tell them Texas Toast sent you.
I was reading the other day that it takes at least $1 million to break an artist. That's a ton of change, and it can feel overwhelming. But with social media leveling the playing field, you just need an effective strategy to release your music. Check out Release Rocket to ensure your single does not die after release day. You've already put time, effort, and tons of money into writing and recording your album. Let the guys at Release Rocket keep your new release alive.
And
Yeah.
I mean, you have a really good schedule. You're playing some really good or have played some really good venues like Hotel Turkey, Brewster Street, Floors with Braxton Keith, and you're going to Steamboat.
I'm going to Steamboat. Yeah, I can't
Are
believe
you just so excited about that?
I'm super pumped. That's a place I've been wanting to go even just as a as an audience member just to hang
Mhm.
out. And yeah, so I'm still kind of can't even believe I get the opportunity. I'm super grateful for that to get up there and to just rub elbows with a whole bunch of people in the industry and to get to play my songs and hopefully just have a good time. And I love the mountains. I love snowboarding. It's like a vacation, but it's work, so I just can't wait. Yeah.
Yeah, well, congratulations on that. And that's a great way to start the year off. And what kind of like going into next year, any other, I mean, that's a big deal, but any other big shows that, or maybe like some bucket list venues that you're looking at?
Man, next year, nothing right now that I can really tell you or anything really, but next year I think just we're gonna just try to ramp it up and try to hit the road as much as possible. And it's super cool to play any of these. And Texas just has the best historical venues. Like Floors Country Store is awesome. We
Yes.
played there one time opening for Slade Coulter, who's a good buddy, and man, it's just so cool. That green room is so historical, and so I can't wait to play there again. And then bucket list really, I growing up in New Braunfels is Green Hall,
Green
so
Hall.
you know
I'm sure that's coming. I'm sure that's coming, Cameron,
hopefully get on
with
a
the music you're putting out. Yes.
well, maybe open up, and for somebody that's probably where it'll start, and yeah,
Yes.
so that's on the bucket list for sure.
Yeah, that's exciting. This is all exciting. And I do want to go back to the album because there is one other song that I want to make sure that we cover, and that is Clean.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can talk about it. Yeah, that was one. Like I said, a lot of these songs aren't really my story, you know, literally at all. But I think that kind of came from a place where I was maybe twisting off a little too much on the weekends and drinking a little too much. And I've kind of had my kind of mental health issues with that. Not to that extreme at all, but
Mhm.
that inspired that, and also just kind of being around a lot of people that have gotten sober and hearing those stories, and it's a super powerful thing, and just evolving as a human, and also really inspired by my girlfriend for just kind of uh, having my back and knowing when to tell me to chill out really, and
Right,
so
right. Check yourself.
yeah. So, I played every time I play that song, I kind of dedicate it to anybody out there going through that. It's not really about me, but it's about
Right.
more so, telling other people's stories. And,
Hmm.
yeah. And that one was kind of a one that it started as I didn't ever know it was going to be a drug, getting clean song, but, the first kind of lines and what it kind of evolved into kind of just led me down that route, and it kind of really was one that changed a whole lot through the writing process. It had like three different names and three different stories, and then finally I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
oh, I cracked the code. This is what this song is. And yeah, so I'm super pumped on the writing on that one, and that's we play that song last every night with the
Hmm.
band, and it's just it's so fun. I wrote that first little guitar lick at the beginning, that catchy thing, and it's so fun to play. So
Yeah. So, tell me about your band members and your band.
yeah, so we just now this past weekend actually was our first real kind of hitting the road in the van. I inherited this van from my uncle who just kind of stepped away from hitting the road. So, super grateful to have a van and pack all the guys into it. But we were out this past weekend with the Cameron Sackey band, so opening up for them uh, in San Angelo, and then we went to Blue Light in Lubbock, which is just an awesome place. The blue
Hmm.
light always wins. That's what they say. It's easy to get in trouble there, but it's super easy to have fun too. But yeah, these band members. The first one, the most original member is my one of my best friends. His name is Easton Sandifer. He's the bass player. So I met him like right when I started playing music live in front of people, and he played guitar, just a little bit of guitar, and we're just like, hey man, you should go buy a bass at a pawn shop and try to figure that out. It's hard to find bass players.
Hmm.
Figure it out. So we started there. That was like 4 years ago, and man, I can't speak enough about how hard he's worked and how much he's improved as a musician. And it went from kind of me always having to look over, make sure he's doing it, and then now it's I don't even have to worry about him these days. He's one of the most professional guys in the group,
Wow.
and yeah, he's awesome. And then we just a guy that I just recently met on the drums, my buddy Hunter, super cool dude, and he's had a ton of touring experience. He was in a band called the Beatnik Bandits, and they went out with on tour with Blue October, opening up for them. So he's been all over the country in a van, so he's used to that. And he's the oldest in the group and kind of a super great hang, good guy. And then lead guitar and harmonies is a y'all should check out this guy's music. He's a songwriter too in our little group here in San Marcos. His name is Ashton Naylor, and he's not really a lead guitarist like at heart. That's not what he does. He's just a phenomenal vocalist, phenomenal songwriter. But after kind of listening to how this record turned out, I was like, man, I really need some killer harmonies. It's because it's all over the project. So I brought him in there, and it's just been he's so good at music. He's got a great ear. He's so good at harmonies, and our voice kind of really clicks together live, I think. So it's just been a great time. I can't wait to get back out there with him.
Yeah, well, that's great that you've already put your band together, and I love how it all came together. So, looking forward to some really good things coming from you, Cameron. You've got a lot of good stuff going on. Everyone needs to check out the album Any Part of Life, plus your other music that you have on streaming, and let everybody know your website or your social media where they can find you and check your schedule to catch a show.
Yeah, right on. It's Cam Allbright Music on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. I got a Facebook page too. It's just under Cameron Allbright, maybe Cameron Allbright Music. And we actually just got a website together today, so I'm gonna make a post about that and got a little online merch store. So, you know,
Yay.
help us out, buy some merch, get us down the road if you can. And yeah, I'm super pumped for what's coming, what's up next. So.
Yeah, we'll definitely be keeping up, and you go and have a great time, and just make some great memories when you go to Steamboat. I know I know I can only imagine what that means to you. And thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Cameron Albright. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for having me. It was a pleasure. Thanks.